Hi everyone, it's Olivia from Girlybunches, and in this week's video I'm going to be using some of this jersey yarn. You may have seen this in the stores, in the craft stores or online, and it's this yarn that's basically made out of old clothing. So you never really get the same colour twice because I think it's all recycled, which is brilliant. And yeah, it's just made from scraps of yarns that are scraps of fabric that manufacturers have got left over when they do a run. And if you take it off the roll, you can see that it's generally just fabric that's been cut and has naturally curled up by itself. So it's very it's a good texture, and it's quite stretchy, which actually sort of makes it a little bit I think difficult to work with, because as you're working, you sort of find that I find that it's easy to kind of stretch it when actually you want to try and not do that as much as possible. When you're using this yarn, you are going to need to use quite big hooks, and because every type of yarn that you get is going to be slightly different, then you might need to a range of different hooks. Like I've got an 8mm here, 7mm not so much, that's still quite too small for it. I can't find my 9mm hook. I know it's a tragic story, but I have got my 10mm hook here, which possibly is my biggest metal hook that I have. I have got, I'm just looking in my jar here, I have got a 12mm hook somewhere, but I don't really like to use it because it's plastic, and I find that the plastic on, well, I don't really like using plastic hooks full stop, because I find that they doesn't run smoothly over the yarn, and I find in particular this is the case with this stuff. So if you've never tried it, you know, this is just me having a go with it. I have to say I'm not a massive fan of it. It's quite hard work on the hands, so if you do have sore hands, that is something to think about. But if you go steady and just don't do too much at a time, then that's not so bad. But also a really good thing about it is whatever you make with it is really tough and is quite quick to make up, because it's so chunky that it grows quite quickly. Okay, so that's the yarn, and I'm going to show you how to make a bedside table nightstand, as it were, like a little pot to put stuff in. And the reason that I haven't made that first is because I've only got this much, and I wanted to make it and talk to you about this yarn first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start working this, and I'm probably going to speed it up in places, but I'm going to do a voiceover, so hopefully it will work. Different way of doing a video, but yeah, so let's give it a go. So as normal, I'm going to start off with a magic loop. Now maybe do it around 3 fingers as opposed to just the one, because it's so chunky, and all I can say is just go slowly with it. In fact, I have to hold the hook a different way to how I normally do. Some people do hold the hook like this, so if you hold the hook like this anyway, you're going to get on with this much better, probably, because I don't normally hold the hook that way. So I've done my magic loop, and I'll put a video link down below on how I normally do that, so you can see how it's done. And I'm just going to do a chain here just to secure that off. I'll do one more chain, and that will replace a double crochet. You may know that as a single, but I'm British, so I call that a double. I'll put a video link down below to the different names of stitches in case you're not familiar with them. And right, so now I'm just going to start working. And obviously this magic loop is going to be a bit fiddly because this yarn is it's so thick that, well, I personally am not used to using thick yarns like this. So I'm just going to do my first double, and talking to you and looking through a camera and doing this at the same time is a bit tricky. Okay, so there's my first one. I'm going to do 6 into here. So I've got I did replace my first double with a chain. So I've got 1, 2, 3. There's 4. 5. 6. Now I can pull the tail that's hanging down here up tight, and that's given me my first round. And now I'm not going to do a slip stitch, I'm going to just keep working in a spiral. So I have discussed this on another video, and I'll put a link. I think it was the egg cozy, the Christmas egg cozy video, and I'll put a video link down below to that. But I think me trying to explain that with this yarn is going to be a bit tricky for you to sort of see what I'm doing. But with normal yarn, when you work in a spiral, you would, once you've done your first round, you would then work 2 stitches into the top of your first round, which is what I'm going to do next. But then you would work a round that was just 1 stitch into the top of each stitch. But I find that this curls up so much because it's so thick that I'm just going to skip doing that single stitch around, and I'm going to be increasing on every round until I get the base of the size of the basket that I want. It'll all make sense when I get going. So now I need to do 12 double crochets. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and that's to do a round. Here is a good place to put a stitch marker, but I like to count them because I just find that's easier for me, and it's going to grow so quickly that you probably don't need to just do a few rows of counting. So I'm going to start doing my doubles, 2 lots of doubles into the top of each stitch. So I'm going to get my hook in. This one's tricky, that's it, there we go. So there's 1, 2, okay, so you see it's curling up a lot, and I'm just going to pull that middle bit tighter. Okay, so if you did 1 stitch around, then it would curl up even more, and we're trying to get this to lay as flat as possible. Okay, so now I'm going to start doing 1 stitch and then 2 into the next one, 1 stitch, 2 into the next one, 1 stitch, 2 into the next one. I'm going to do that all the way around, and because I'm increasing it by 6 again, we should have 18 stitches, so you know when to get back. So you're just going to add 6 each for each row. So the first row was 6 stitches, the second row was 12, and then the next row is going to be 18, and then the row after that will be 24. But I'll start off doing, instead of doing the 1 stitch and then 2 stitches, I'm going to do 1, 1, 2. So that's 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. That will be in the second round, so after this one. Okay, so we're going to go with 1 double crochet and then 2 into this one. That's 2, 3, and then we're going to go 1, that's 4, 5, 6, that's 2 into that one, and then 1 into this one is 7, and then 2 into this one, 8, 9, 1 into this one, 10, then 2 into this one, 11, 12, 1 into this one, 13, 2 into the next one, 14, 15, 1 into this one, 16, and then 2 into this one gives us 18 altogether, so that's 17, 18, and there we go. So now we can start to see it's getting bigger, it wants to curl up. Pull that middle bit in and just keep flattening it out and giving it a good shape. It is the nature of this fabric and this yarn, so you know that's just how it is, and it's probably why I don't like it so much. Okay, so now I'm just going to keep adding 6 stitches per row. So like I said, this row I'm going to do one double crochet, 1 double crochet and 2, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2. I'm going to keep going until I've got 24, because that's, so 18 plus 6 is 24, and I'm just going to keep working that, and I'm probably going to do 2 more rows. So after so I'm going to end up with 30 stitches altogether for my base, so I'm going to speed that up. Okay, so there's my 24 stitches all the way around, and if you're making this for your bedside table, then the best thing to do is just kind of, and you want to know how big you want it to be, then just get your items that you want to put inside it. So I want to put that and some other bottles in there, so if I go one more round I think I'm going to be just fine, because that's quite a lot of space on the bottom there. Might need to have room for a few emergency crochet hooks I like to have on my bedside table just in case. And okay, so now we're going to just do that last round for me, and I'm going to do 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 2. So, and then carry on. So I'll come back when I've got 30, because if it's a good way to count it is it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You know, it's knowing your times tables, unfortunately, but no one goes into crochet without realising quite quickly that it's quite a lot of counting. So for those of you who like to count, like me, then you know, crochet is the medium for you. Okay, so I'm going to carry on with that now. Okay, so I've got my 30 stitches around the edge there. I might have to lift up a little bit more to see what I'm doing. Sorry, you can see the edges of my background. Okay, so you can see that it's tough, you know, it's sort of got a nice firmness to it. And what I want to start doing now is I want to start making the sides to my little basket. So now I've got my 30 stitches around, I know that each round is going to be 30 stitches, so I am now going to start using a stitch marker, and like I've shown you before, I'm just going to use a piece of fabric, just a piece of yarn, just to kind of weave in and out so I can see where my rows start and finish. Not because I'm particularly fussed on knowing how many rows I'm going to go up, because I'm just going to keep going up until I've got to the right size for myself, but because I want to make sure that I stop at the right place. So I've got 30 stitches on the row, because I'm just going to keep going round, and I'm not going to increase the rows by any number of stitches. I'm just going to keep doing double crochets. So excuse me, you can see it wants to curl, so now we want to curl it back in the opposite direction to how it wants to curl, because now we want to try and bring the sides up. So I'm just going to keep working on this, and I'm going to speed up this video whilst I'm working on it, because otherwise it's going to take a little while. And it's just a question of going around now, like I said, doing one stitch into the top of each stitch and stopping when I've got to the height that I want my basket to be. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a quick project. It's definitely feels really nice, and it's going to look really unusual. Yeah, so I was saying at the beginning of the video, I'm using the hook in a completely different way to how I would normally use the hook, and yeah, it does make it quite difficult, I think, to get used to if you're having to use the hook in a completely different way. Another thing I don't really like about this yarn is it doesn't come off the comb very easily. It also wants to, I'm used to sort of using the yarn to come out the middle of the ball as opposed to around the edge, so that that I don't really like either. So, you know, oh dear, I'm moaning about this, aren't I? But, you know, really, I do like it. So now I've come back round to the beginning again, and I can just pull my yarn forward, so I now am weaving a sort of a stitch marker into my work so that I can see exactly where I want to finish when I do want to finish, when I've got to the right height. Right, you can see it's starting to curl up now, and that's great, because what in a minute I'm going to do when I get round to the beginning again is I'm going to turn it the right way. So at the moment I've got the right side in the middle at the moment, and this is the wrong side, and that's not the side I want to see when I look at my basket. So when I get round to the beginning of my round, I'll show you how I'm going to shape it. Okay, so I just take the hook out now, and as you can see, if you just turn it inside out, as it were, like that, there we go, it's starting to take its shape now. So that's what I want to see on the outside. I want to see that stitch, not the back of the stitch, which is now on the inside. And then the more you go up, the more you'll be able to make your shape. And if I just get my bottle again, now you can see I've got a few more rows to go before I get to the depth that I want. I'm probably not going to go higher than that so much, so I don't know how much I should go, but I'm running out of light, so we'll see how we get on. I'm going to come back when I've got right to the top. Okay, so I've now got to the height that I want to get it to, so that I've got sort of nice resting space, and as you can see, that's really firm now. I mean, it's really great feeling. So that's as far as I want to go, because I just want to be able to put a few bits and bobs in there. So as you can see, using my stitch marker, I was able to see where I need to stop, which is here. And just to finish it off, I'm going to just do a slip stitch into here, like that, and then I'm going to get my scissors, I'm going to cut my yarn, and then I'm going to just finish that off by pulling that tail through, giving that a nice pull, like so. Now I've stopped at the right place, so now I can take out my marker stitch, my marker yarn, sorry, and that just pulls out nice and easily. Now I just need to sew in the ends. So you're going to need a needle with a very big eye like this, and it probably won't go through, it might not go through like that. If I can get that to focus, come on, there you go. It might not go through, so you just unwind it a bit like that, and then get your edge in first and then pull it through, and then it's just a question of weaving as normal the ends where you can, and this is obviously a bit more trickier on this sort of yarn, but let's pull that tight. Let's go down here. If in doubt, find another route. There we go. Like so. If it's easier just to turn it inside out, then do that. You can always put it back in the right way, and then just weave your end. You don't need to weave too much. This yarn, or fabric as it is, sort of tends to grip onto itself, so you know, you don't need to do too much intricate weaving of your tail, but there we go, that's got it. And then we need to do that bottom piece, like so. Take that off, see how much it stretches, and then you can just cut your ends. If you had sharp scissors, that was, which I don't, not in this case anyway. Yeah, there we go, done. So there we go, there's the little basket made, and I'm pleased with that, and that's going to sit on my bedside table with my little bits and bobs and emergency crochet hooks, because that's just the way I am. And yeah, that's just how I used this particular yarn. I see I've got loads left, so I might make another one that's a bit taller, maybe not so quite as round, but yeah, I think that's kind of cute. I like that. And you could do an edging on the top, but I like this, like seeing this, I think that looks nice. And yeah, I'm going to show you how to use this in a different way in my next video, so stay tuned for that. If you've bought this and think, actually I don't want to crochet with it, because I've been there and done that with things. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this video, a little bit different. Give us a thumbs up if you liked it, I'd love that if you did. A new video will be coming out next week. I hope you've been enjoying my crochet mini series, which I've been releasing out every Wednesday, so I'll put a link to the playlist on that. And otherwise I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching. Bye!